All right. Okay, we are live. We are live on the late afternoon show this beautiful March day. And then you know how we like to do it on the late afternoon show. We got to let that beat drop. Here it goes. Hey, let's go. It's all about the good vibrations, people. Shake your shoulders. Let's go. Just like this. Hey. Welcome to the late afternoon show. We're going to give some folks some time to hop on. If you're joining us on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, let us know in the chat where you're joining us from. Just type your city. If you are an old and faithful member of the Meaningful Work family, let us know. If this is your first time, put a number 1 so we can welcome you to the Meaningful Work family in the late afternoon show. Just vibe. Let's go. Hey, hey, hey. Let's go. Oh, man. You guys can't see this, but I see my guest in the green room. He is vibing right now. Oh, man. Hey, let's go. Let's go. The only way that I know if you guys are here is if you put it in the chat. So let me know that you're here vibing on the late afternoon show. Let's go. Let's go. Whoop. We're on the same frequency, baby. Let's go. Some of you guys just got your stimulus check. Come on now. Let's go. It's Friday. It's payday for some of you. Come on now. Hey. Do that money dance. Do that money dance. Make it rain. Say thank you, Kamala. Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you, America. Hey. Y'all can't see my wife. She's over here vibing. Hey. Welcome to the show. We're about to get started. We just want to make sure everybody has a chance to join us. Let us know where you're coming from, where you're going. Welcome to the weekend, baby. Yo, hey, 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 hey. Let's go. As many of you may know, the late afternoon show has quickly become my favorite part of the week. Whether we're doing it on Tuesdays or doing it on Fridays, it is my favorite time of the week because I get to vibe with you guys. I get to vibe with my guests. We learn more about meaningful work. And this is good vibes, baby. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. We got folks in the chat. If you are in the event on LinkedIn and you want to chat with us, you can either chat on the live or you can chat in the chat. Oh, are you trying to come? Oh, you're not trying to come through? Hey, let's go. We got Dana in the chat saying she's excited about this. Let's go, Dana. Come and check us out. It's almost done. We're about to wrap it up. We're about to get this party started. Hey, let's go. John Marty in the house. Is Marty Moore in the house? JM is in the house. If you're feeling good and you're looking good, then come to the late afternoon. Hey, yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, children of all ages, welcome to the late afternoon show. I'm your host, Tim Olari, and we are super excited to have you guys joining us on this edition of the late afternoon show. Guys, I say this all the time, but this time I really mean it. I am super hyped. You can see me sweating. All right. I shaved my head bald the other day so you guys can see all of my pores as I am excited to talk to John Marty today. So let us know where you are joining us from. If you're joining us on the live show or if you're joining us on the rebroadcast, whichever one, we're just happy that you came to hang out with us here today. Let us know where you're coming from. We like to see where the Meaningful Work family is. We know we got folks in Memphis. We got folks in Atlanta. Sometimes we got folks joining us from the United Kingdom. Give it up for the United Kingdom. I can throw on a British accent if I want to sound smart and have folks really think I know what I'm talking about. But we got folks from all over the place. So let us know where you're joining us from. We are about to get in. Public service announcement. For anybody that was part of the celebration of meaningful work a couple weeks ago that I did on my birthday, March 1st, if you won stuff, if you won a shirt, the I Do Meaningful Work shirt, if you won some pins, if you won a book, I promise you guys, I'm gonna get those out. I have them in the envelopes. I just got to get them to the postman, and we will be good to go. So your shirts, your swag, your pins, your books, your big black tee, all of that stuff is coming. I promise. We are just managing life out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? So my wife is going to go get the kids. So that is the partnership. That is how we do this out here. So, guys, you're about to get these jokes. I know you thought I might have forgotten. It's like, oh, man, Tim, you might just go right into the John Marty's. No. You guys are going to get these jokes. All right. And we know like the two most important things that are on everybody's mind right now is vaccinations and stimulus. All right. Vaccinations and stimulus. And Uncle Joe, I call him Uncle Joe. He seems like an uncle to me. Uncle Joe has been relatively transparent, right? Trying to be forthright with what he's doing, how he's trying to get these vaccines out and the whole process. And I had previously reported that he had named it Operation Warp Speed. Like, yo, we're going to get these out fast. It hasn't been as fast as we had thought. And, not everybody's able to, sign up as they want to. So maybe that was the most appropriate name. So in an effort to be a little bit more transparent, Uncle Joe said, all right, we're changing the name. We're calling it, in the spirit of the month we're in, we're calling it Operation March Madness. All right. Trying to be a little bit more transparent because only the final four get the second dose. That is what we are going to do. So if you're waiting, you got to be the final four or you just might not get it. And then the other thing, stimulus. We saw Kanye West is now worth $6 billion. So that's a lot of money. And folks felt like they were a lot of money. They increased their net worth by at least $1,400 this week. Some folks got a little bit more. But everybody's shouting, you got that stimmy? You got your stimmy? You got your stimmy? Everybody got their stimmy. They're celebrating. I got my stimmy. We about to ball out. What I'm listening for is the people that are not yelling, right? The folks that are not shouting because they owe money. You are never going to be shouting if you know you owe somebody money. They're just waiting for you to say something. Yeah. Oh, you got $1,400? Let me hold that money that you owe me. So you see the people shouting, you see the folks are not, something's going on there. But we just had, St. Patrick's Day? Yo, I have been dying on these St. Patrick's Day dad jokes, right? I have to deliver these dad jokes. John's a dad. He knows what's up. We got some dads out there. They know what's up. So let me tell you, let me ask you a question. What's Irish and stays out all night? What is Irish and stays out? If you're listening to this, type in your answer if you think you know what it is, and I'll check back on the tweet on the chat and see who got it. What is Irish and stays out all night? Patty O'Furniture. Come on, you can't see my knee, but I'm slapping it because that was slap knee funny. Come on, that was good. Let's see what else. Folks are getting back on the planes. We're trying to travel. Restrictions are opening up. So why did St. Patrick drive the snake out of Ireland? I kind of gave it away already. Why did St. Patrick drive the snakes out of Ireland? Because he couldn't afford a plane ticket. He couldn't just fly them out. He had to drive them out. We're going on a road trip, everybody. That actually had me dying. This is the last one, guys, and we're going to jump right into John Marty here. What do you call a fake Irish stone? What do you call a fake Irish stone? Come on, you guys know this one. What is a fake Irish stone? A shamrock. He's a fake. He's a sham. Come on. You guys can give me the applause emoji. You guys can give me the eyes rolling emoji like, oh my gosh, Tim, you need to stop with these jokes. Keep your day job. I will. But guys, we are super excited to have John Marty. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let you know a little bit about who he is. If you don't know who he is, hop out real quick. Go and search John Marty on anything, on LinkedIn, check out his website. This guy has done stuff, okay? Let me tell you a little bit about John Marty. So currently, he's a senior product manager of new business and innovation at the Amazon. But it wasn't that long ago when he was working at Best Buy. Shout out to Best Buy. Get for $12 an hour to make ends meet. Now, after running his own company for more than a decade, A failure left him broke and desperate at the age of 31 with a baby on the way. Man, I resonate with this. I have been a broke adult with kids on the way. That is not the most awesome place to be. It does a blow to your pride, but my man came through. So after reinventing himself, John developed a deep passion for helping others unleash their true potential. And that journey helped him inspire the co-found Project 1B, a company that helps people around the world maximize their sense of meaning. Anytime I hear meaning, my little spidey senses come up. Mr. Meaningful Work. You know, we in there, man. Inspire a sense of meaning so that they can lead a more fulfilled life. John is laser focused on unlocking the potential in others and bringing out the very best that they have to offer. And so, without further ado, we are excited to welcome to the stage our guest today. Where is he at? Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one and only John. Marty's in the house. Oh, man, so much vibe. So much vibe.
I'm losing it.
My guy, look at this. No, you out here in Denver, you as cool as a popsicle, man. How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good.
Bro, I am. Look, you cool out there. I'm out here sweating. Where is my rag?
Dude, it's nice out here. It's nice
out here. Moist.
I got my shorts. I got my shorts on.
You got your shorts on. I got my sweats on. Like, we out here just in opposites right now. But my man, how are you living? What has this week been like for you, man?
It's been good, man. It's been good. I just finishing up a bunch of tasks at the day job. Happy it's Friday, man. Just moved into this new house.
Man,
a lot of good things. Feeling really grateful, man. Just feeling super, super grateful.
Dude, that is what is up. I am super excited that, I think we connected through our mutual friend, Mr. Tim Salau. That guy is just a bridge. He is a connector. He is a force in and of himself. And I'm so glad. I know you've been on some of his B2B chats, the guide jam sessions that you guys are doing. And after him and I talked, I was like, yo, I need to talk to some more folks like you. And he was like, my man, John Marty is the guy. The guy. And then I went and I looked up. I was like, John Marty. Yeah, I've seen him around. I haven't really looked into it. And I looked and I was like, oh, dang. Oh, dang. Oh, meaningful? Oh, 1B Amazon? Oh, dude. I was like, yes, this is somebody I definitely need to talk to. So I'm glad that we were able to finally set it up.
Yeah, man. It's great to connect with you.
Dude, what are you excited about these days? Like, what is something that gets your heart pumping, that you look forward to? What gets you excited these days?
Yeah, man. I just try to focus on being excited about little things, man. Just little things.
Yeah.
Just like having coffee in the morning, just hanging out with the kiddo in the morning.
Yeah.
Doing movie night with the kiddos, man. Because honestly, I was looking at this post on LinkedIn, and somebody said if you can't be happy with your daily cup of coffee, you're never going to be happy with your Lamborghini. Because we're all just like chasing, right? And so like you get into this mindset of excitement, and excitement can be really misleading, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm excited about something in the future, right? And so you always get into this mindset of like the dopamine drip, and I try to break that cycle, man. I'm trying to really break that cycle over the past 6 years.
That's what's up. And I think you can tell when folks are generally excited about the little things. I think just their demeanor, their persona is just one that is more, there's just joyful, right? I keep bringing up Tim. Like when I was on the show and I asked him, I think the question I asked him was, what makes you really, really happy, or something, or what makes you laugh, or like, what was the last thing that you laughed at? Yeah. And he was like, dude, I honestly get excited about a cup of green tea. That totally, is man. Like,
he and I are on the same page, man.
Dude, and you can just tell,
because if I wrap my head up in an idea of like, oh, well, my excitement is going to come from promotion, or my excitement is going to come from buying something, or something else, right? Then it diminishes your current joy, right? It
Yeah.
lessens your current joy. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to be said with just really trying to enjoy the smaller things.
Yeah.
Because really that's 90% of every person's day, right? Like
Yes.
that's it, man. I mean, everybody deals with struggles during their day. Everybody deals with problems. There's no perfect 24/7 bliss that
No.
exists, even though in our minds we tend to kind of falsely believe that it's somewhere on the horizon. And that's not the way life works, man. Even a billionaire has problems, you
True.
know?
Facts. These are facts.
So
These are facts, man. And you know, the thing that I love about you is your hyper focus on finding meaning, right?
yeah,
Finding, like,
yeah,
you have a whole company. Like, I'm only 1 year into this whole Mr. Meaningful Work thing.
yeah.
And you know, you have been looking at how to help folks discover meaning in the activities and the things that they're doing. And you, for one, have been on quite the journey. And I'm sure you tell the story a million times. But let me ask you, if you were to track from the early days, kind of like that tough climatic period, and kind of where you are now, what would you say is the most, or one of the most pivotal pieces in that story for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's luck involved in every story, I think, as well, right? Like there's a lot of gratitude, there's a lot of luck, there's a lot of hard work. There's hard work meets opportunity scenarios, right? But there's a lot of mindset that goes into it as well, because I think 6.5 so years ago now, I was working at Best Buy, right? And I'm making $12 an hour. I'm working on the sales floor, and I was in a really bad spot financially, right? Like I couldn't afford anything. I had a baby on the way, but I actually really enjoyed that job. And, if I think about that scenario, if I think back to that scenario, I made some good friends there.
Yeah.
Some people who I still talk to, right? Who I'm still connected with. There's meaningful connections to be had there. There's meaningful connections to be had at any job. And I think it comes down to a mindset of believing it's meaningful or not. Right? It's a perspective shift. It's like I could have been at Best Buy and saying, man, my life sucks.
Yeah.
I could have been there and saying, like, I hate the fact that I'm even here. I hate the fact that I'm wearing this shirt every day and having to clock in and clock out and listen to a boss and a boss's boss and a boss's boss. And when I used to be the CEO and I used to have a multi-million-dollar company, right? Like I could have said all that, but I didn't. I said, let me try to find the meaning in helping the customers. Let me try to find the meaning in the relationships that I had. And some of those people are still really good friends.
Dude.
So, it's crazy because people see me at Amazon and they go, he's made it.
Yeah.
And yes, from a financial aspect, Amazon has allowed me to catapult myself into a place that I've never would have dreamed would be possible over the past 4 years, ever. But it's not more meaningful to work at Amazon than it is to work for $12 an hour. It is literally a perspective shift. My job now doesn't provide me any more fulfillment than my $12 an hour job. It provides me more money. It does not make me happier. The money just provides me leverage, right? The money just provides me with a sense of security, but it's not a happiness thing. It's not like John is way more happy. If you've seen any of my YouTube videos for the past year, I've literally been sitting on the floor in my living room doing work, right? Like I have a 13-inch laptop provided to me from the company. I didn't have a big monitor. I didn't have a crazy desk. I didn't have anything. I sat on the floor and I would drink my cup of coffee and I would stare out the window, looking outside, looking at the sunlight and saying, I am so happy right here sitting on the floor doing my work.
I love it. I love it.
And
I love it.
And so I've approached things that way. And it's funny, man, as soon as I started like changing my mindset to a perspective of like, I'm grateful for just existing. Like there's this baseline level of like, I'm grateful for existing. I'm grateful for even having clean water. I'm grateful for even having walls around me that keep me warm, right? Like these basic things that most everybody takes for granted, right? As soon as I started doing that, dude, like it sounds crazy, but like more abundance kept flowing in.
Wow. So your gratefulness was almost like a catalyst for more to come
Dude,
through.
absolutely. Like I can't
Okay.
even express. As soon as I started, because here's the thing, man. Like back in the day when I was working at Best Buy, I
Yeah.
lived in that little 850 square foot house. Now granted, keep in mind 850 square feet in Singapore is like a palace, right? So like we have to keep the perspectives here. Like
True. Yeah.
850 square feet in Denver is like a really, really small house.
Yeah.
It's very cheap,
Yeah.
right? It's probably one of the most lowest cost of living type of places you could live.
Yeah.
So that's the context, right? And
Yeah.
so back then is a rental from my in-laws, and we lived in that rental, and I was making $12 an hour. My wife was about to have a baby, and I remember looking at that house, and like paint was peeling off the windows, and paint was peeling off the exterior, and I kept being like, man, I can't wait for the day that I can move out of this place. And a year ago, when we moved back into that place, I was so grateful to move in. And I didn't even look at the walls. I didn't even look at the peeling off paint. I was just so happy to be living in a scenario where like we could all live there under the same roof. And like
Man.
what a perspective shift, dude, because I
That's it.
hated living there before, and then I moved there again, and then I loved living there, and I wouldn't have wanted to go anywhere else. And so hilarious that while I was living there and perfectly happy and perfectly grateful for being in that spot, never wanting to move, perfectly content, an opportunity came up to buy the house that I'm living in right now, which I would have never have dreamed would be possible. And
Look at
we
that.
took it.
Look at that. Look at that. The mindset is the key. The mindset
Dude,
is
the
the
mindset
key.
is the
Like
key. The mindset is the
once
key,
you
man.
switch that and then the floodgates open up.
They
And
really do, man.
that leads me to a question
Yeah.
of would you rather, right? So you've gone down this path and have a great life, had great experiences, hopeful for the future, grateful for what you have now.
Yeah.
If you had a choice, would you rather continue your life, or if you have an opportunity to start over, which one would you do?
Yeah. I mean, I would never start over because all of the things that led me to where I am today were lessons that I learned, which gave me
Mm,
the perspective that I have.
mm,
So why would I ever remove any of that, right?
mm,
All of the failures and all of the pain and all of the
mm.
struggle that we all go through, right?
Yeah,
That is a unifying theme across
yeah,
every single person. We all
yeah.
face challenges that are
True.
extremely difficult, some more than others.
Yeah,
And that pain is a catalyst for perspective.
yeah,
And it's what so many of us lack.
yeah, dude. I I always think about that question, like especially when I'm going through like a tough time. It's like, man, if I could do this again,
Yeah.
would I make the same decision? Because I
Yeah.
know like whatever decision that I made is going to catapult me to something that I'll learn from in the future. But if
Yeah.
I made a different decision, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And or like if I'm in a situation like yours where the switch from mindset, right? You were living in one place, hated it, came
Yeah.
back, switched,
Loved it.
loved it.
Yep.
Maybe it was like, maybe if I had that attitude of gratitude earlier,
Yeah.
like would those opportunities have come earlier? But that's just
Yeah. I mean, it's water
you know,
under the bridge, right? You could reflect, you could ponder, you could live
yeah,
in the past and say, what if?
yeah,
But there's no point in doing that.
nope,
It's already
yeah,
passed.
yeah,
So like if I think objectively,
yeah,
strategically, would I have done something different from a financial standpoint earlier
yeah,
on? Sure, right?
yeah,
Like I would have from the sale of my first company, I probably would not have started the second company.
yeah,
And I would have put that money into real estate, right? But
yeah,
then if I did, and if I had continued down a path of being like trying to get financially successful without the perspective that I have today, then maybe I'd be miserable today,
mm,
right? So,
yeah,
like I don't want to change those
yeah,
experiences. If I
yeah,
think about it objectively, I could say, oh yeah, well I would have saved more and done better
yeah,
with my financials, but I didn't.
yeah, yeah, dude. So you are killing it on LinkedIn.
Thanks, man.
Totally crushing it. I mean, well, was it 250 close to 260,000, quarter of a million followers,
somewhere up there. Yeah.
Somewhere up there.
Yeah.
And crushing it on YouTube, pumping out content on YouTube. You're running your business. There's very few profiles that I can go to on LinkedIn and see like 5 things that all say present. Like founder of this thing till present, Amazon till present, this is till present. And so you have all these things that are going on. I'm sure you have so many folks reaching out to you, connecting with you. What is, of all the communications that you're getting between all the different platforms that you're doing, what would you say is a common question that you get asked all the time? Like if you were to pick one thing that folks reach out to you for all the time, what would that be?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of folks reach out to me specifically to try to work in big tech, right? They want to get a job in big tech, and they primarily want to do it because they believe that it's going to make them happier, right? Because we have a societal construct where we have if-then statements stuck in our head. If I get this better job, quote, better. We don't even know what the concept of better is. If I get this job at Amazon, right?
Yeah.
I believe it's going to be better, and I believe it's going to make me happier, and I believe it's going to make me more fulfilled. And it, like we just follow this narrative down to happiness.
Yeah.
Right. More happiness than I have today. And you can't guarantee that. Right. What you can do is you can try and make more money. But if you make more money and you buy more shit, and you don't have perspective, then the shit that you buy is never going to fulfill you, right?
You're not. So it doesn't equal happiness.
It doesn't. It'll never get you there. It'll never get you there, dude.
Yeah.
So you just get into this. It's called hedonic adaptation, right? So you get into a hedonic adaptation. You get one level higher, then you settle into that level, then you want more again, and it's a human condition. That's just how we're wired. But you have to recognize that we're wired that way. And once you do, you go, oh, okay, that's interesting. And that's never been taught to us in school, right? So that was a realization for me in my early 30s. There was a big light bulb moment like, whoa, our brain is constantly playing tricks on us. How can I recognize the patterns in our brains so that I can insert new patterns, new recognitions, new conscious beliefs, right? Bringing some of the subconscious into the conscious. But yeah, man, people just say that they're not happy in their job today. Here's an example. I had this young woman who jumped on with me, and she really didn't like her job. And she said to me, and I've had this same exact topic hit me numerous times. She said, I want to work for a company like Disney because I believe that a company like Disney is going to be extremely happy and fulfilling. And so many people have said that same thing with the word Disney. And I go, what is that? Right? Disney is not going to be any more fulfilling than the shitty job that you have today.
Yeah.
It's just a logo. Your experience is going to be driven off of either a good or a bad manager. It has nothing to do with Disney. It has nothing to do with fantasies of Disney
or the superheroes.
You're gonna work your ass off at Disney. You're gonna work your ass off at your current job. So it's perspective, dude, all day long. I'll help you get paid more money. I will strategically help you get paid. Okay. But know that me helping you getting paid is not going to make you happier.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like, it sounds like you're hitting it from both ends, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you have the materials, like, okay, I want to get a job in tech or engineering, thinking that I want to be happier, but underlying it's about, I want to make more money. It's like, okay, we can get you from a work product standpoint and from a financial standpoint into that. But on a mindset perspective, you thought this is what was going to make you happy.
Not going to do it.
Here's some perspective on, changing your perspective and, looking at different examples and different stories. And so it's like you give them like the material things, like, okay, this is what you need, infrastructure wise. But here's what your mind needs as well. And so you're really attacking it at both ends. You got that holistic approach. I love that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Because you can't hit someone with mindset when what they only want, their sole focus is, I want my dream job. Yeah. And you dissect that. What does dream job mean to you?
Yeah.
Right. And you get to the root and people are looking for a sense of meaning, right?
Yeah.
They're looking for a sense of meaning in the work that they do.
Yeah.
You can't guarantee that at any corporation. You can align yourself. You can direct yourself. You can direct your talents and strengths and vocalize your talents and strengths. Know them consciously, but you're going to deal with politics and you're going to deal with BS everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't matter if it's Disney or Amazon or Best Buy. But even if you're struggling in a role, I was struggling like crazy in my first 2 years at Amazon. I absolutely hated my job.
Oof.
I cannot just express to you how much I hated my job. I would come home crying at night because people were so backstabbing horrible. And yet I switched teams and I have an incredibly good experience because the people were different.
Yeah.
Right. And so same floor, 2 different teams. It had nothing to do with company culture. It had to do with management. It had to do with some politics and whatever.
Yeah.
I shift over, have a great experience, great people. So it has a lot to do with the people you work with. People are everything, man. Relationships are everything. And even when you're struggling, right? Even though I hated it, Amazon has a 30-day switch policy. I could have switched teams in 30 days to another team, but I stuck with it.
Yeah.
Why? Because I was like, you know what? I'm grateful for being pressure tested. Nice. Even though I'd come home and I would come crying to my wife, like, how could people be so horrible? And I stuck with it because there were people that I had great relationships with, and I focused on the positives, even though I was dealing with the negative.
Yeah, that's good, man. It's a tough experience to be in, like, once you're in it, and face the temptation of like, yo, I want to get out of it. I want to get out of it, but it's like, no, okay, let me just stick through it. I know it's gonna.
What am I learning? What am I
learning? Exactly. What am I learning? And the outcome of that learning is what we're trying to get to.
So important, man.
Yeah. So I want to give folks some. I mean, you've dropped so many gems here, and I want to give folks something a little extra. If they're watching it live or if they're watching it later, folks awfully come to you for your business. Hey, I want to get a job in tech. I need some consulting. I need some some guidance on how to navigate what's there. If you were to give, let's just say we're in a session, right? And you were going to give us one free tip before you send us your bill for your fees. If you were to give us 1 or 2 free tips, or if somebody's thinking, I want to transition into technology, I want to get into this space for the money, for the experience, or what have you, what is maybe 1 or 2 things that is good practical advice for folks who want to make that switch?
Yeah. Okay. So let me say there's 2 things. There's one is, don't direct yourself or don't direct your mind towards the dream job, right? Because what you're doing is you're directing yourself in a system, and you're believing that within a ladder, within a corporate structure, you're going to find a sense of meaning and fulfillment. And that's not necessarily true. I tell people to focus on maximizing their salary, focusing on maximizing, learning how to sell themselves. Okay. It really comes down to selling yourself, right? Selling your skills, knowing your skills, being confident in your skills, and getting paid really well and using that money to find financial freedom. The goal is not a dream job. The goal is financial freedom. That is the goal. The goal is to be an uncaged bird. That is the goal, right? The goal is to wake up in the morning and go, you know what? I can choose to do whatever the hell I want to do today. Yeah. How am I going to get there as fast as physically possible? I think tech does allow you to get there. I think it's very difficult to escape the velocity in our society required to make actual financial freedom. Very, very difficult. And one of the few places you can do it is tech, right? Because you're getting paid a base salary, you're getting paid bonuses, you're getting paid stock, and stock is the key to the cage. Okay. And so, but just from a selling yourself perspective, like a tactical perspective, the resume narrative that you convey on paper is the same as what you're going to convey verbally. And people have these massively long resumes, and recruiters say, no problem. There's this constant, battle
Like
back
different
and forth.
schools of thoughts on that.
Different schools of thought of like, well, should I have a long resume or short resume? And recruiters like, doesn't matter. The resume length doesn't matter. Like showcase whatever it is. The problem is the resume length has nothing to do with the recruiter. It has to do with you vocalizing your strengths as concisely as possible. And most people can't do it. And so when I see a 3-page resume, I see somebody, when I see a 3-page resume for somebody who has 20 years of experience, the first thing I think is this person doesn't know how to convey their value. Because I have 20 years of experience on my resume, and my resume has white space, and it's a 1-page long resume. And I can clearly articulate 2 things, just 2 things for every job that I want to talk about. I don't want the recruiter to come to me and hit me with bullet point number 18 on my 3rd job. And they go, what about this? And you go, shit, they hit me with that question, right? No, I want them to hit me with the only things that I put out into the world because I want to talk about them.
That is definitely a shift. That is definitely a shift, because what that does is it puts the candidate back in control. I think there's this mindset that the company, I mean, you're going to the company. We want the job from the company. And so we want to cater to, but what you're sharing is that when you are in control of your own narrative and you know how to articulate and you speak to the things that you have strength in, it puts you in control. And when you have, dude, I literally just wrote an article the other day about the paradox of permission and how, in order to bet on yourself, I was saying that meaningful works give you the permission to bet on yourself. And this doctor was talking about, well, permission comes from ownership and autonomy, right? If you don't feel like you have ownership of yourself or ownership of your narrative or autonomy and how you deliver that, you're not going to be able to flow as well or be as confident or give yourself the permission. So that strategy right there of bringing that 20 years of experience into a succinct, I love looking at like movie bylines, like Jurassic Park. Like, what was the byline? What was the thing that communicated an hour and a half meeting movie? Yeah, just like that, right? It's dinosaurs got out and they're trying to bring them back in. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm definitely trying to watch that. Articulate that in your resume. That definitely helps. Dude, I appreciate that. And so this is the kind of advice that you give to folks in your consulting service.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and like, it's interesting. You and I both, I think we did very much have this in common. Like we pursue numerous paths, right? As you said, I'm into 5 different things at the same time. You're into numerous things. You do these shows, right? You bring on people like myself, and we find meaning in different areas, right? 100% of your meaning is not going to come from your day job. Maybe 30% comes from your day job. 30% comes from your Mr. Meaningful Work show. Another 30% comes from the fam, right? There are buckets of meaning. And I don't focus on just one bucket. If I'm having a hard day at work, I focus on, okay, there's a meaningful conversation I'm going to have with Tim this afternoon, right? And that brings me joy, right? So different buckets of meaning that we use.
Yeah. Dude, I love that. That almost goes into my next question. I love asking my guests like how they would define meaningful work and how they would apply it to what they're doing. This is the first time that I've heard kind of the breakout of meaningful work, that you're not getting all of it. I try to focus on like, okay, in a professional standpoint, like how do you find meaningful work in what you're doing from a career perspective? But what you just shared is that it may not all come from your 9 to 5. It may not all come from your side hustle. It's a compilation of those, and those ratios adjust, right, based on kind of where you are. Anything that would you add to that definition of meaningful work in the application?
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, it's really important to align yourself with your core skills, right? But I have people who tell me that they want to make a career switch, right? And then I ask them why, right? Like, oh, I've been in recruiting for 13 years. I'm burnt out on recruiting. Okay, so you're going to try something new. But it's under the guise that it's going to be more meaningful. And that's a really tough trap that so many of us, tend to get into. And another thing too, like, let's say for example that Google wanted to hire me for YouTube.
Yeah.
On the surface, amazing. I have a YouTube channel. This is perfect fit, right? Yeah. And I go, unbelievable. But right, I have to roll it back and I have to say, okay, all right. So, but it's work, right? It's 10-hour day job, right? Yeah. It's not going to be the thing that I'm immediately gravitating towards in my head. Yeah. The misdirection in my head about this is going to be so much better. There are going to be pluses. There are going to be minuses. Yep. And, or let's take, for example, let's say I did my coaching full-time, 100% of the time, right? Mm-hmm. Or I did speaking 100% of the time. Because we get into that mindset too, like, oh, if I did this 100% of the time, I'd have way more time. It'd be more fulfilling. Exactly. I'd have less stress.
Yep.
But look at, if you really dig in, what winds up happening? Well, geez, I would actually have to start selling every day. I would, and then I got to worry about my next paycheck. Mm-hmm. And then I inject a new form of stress into my day that I didn't have before, that I wasn't expecting. Yep. So whenever, I guess the key takeaway is we find meaning in different buckets, right? So it's not just work that defines us. It's the things outside of work that define us. There's resumes for life. There's resumes for work. There's resumes for passion projects, right? And it's important for us to dive into all those curiosities because we're a multifaceted, super important. Yeah. But it's also important to have a deep reflection on each decision we make and the implications of them. Yes. Because as soon as you think it would be amazing to be a public speaker and you're not thinking about the 10 other steps of, wow, it would be really suck to be away from my family. Wow, it'd really suck to be traveling all the time. Wow, I got to worry about selling myself to every one of these organizations. Not so sexy anymore,
Dude, you're like the big picture painter. Like when folks are like, no, this is what I want to do. I feel like this is where I want to pivot. This is what it's like, yo, let's take it back. Take a step back. Let's start stroking and say, okay,
let's just breathe.
Let's just breathe for a second. Let's fly up to 30,000 feet and say, it's like, oh no, you thought this is what you wanted, but this is all the implications. This is the downstream. And, that's where you want to go. So you're painting that big picture and almost like you're reorienting folks to what their goals are, right? You feel like this is your goal. But you got to see all the context, all the perspective around that. Yeah. And then they can make an educated, decision.
Right. You remove emotion. You remove emotion from the decisions, right? Yeah. You remove expectation. Like, I work really hard every day. But I don't like, and that's interesting. Like, your first question was about excitement. Yeah. Right. And I reel it back to what brings me joy during the day. Mm-hmm. The day, not in the future, just today, because if I get caught up into the excitement of any role, or I get caught up into expectation, then I'm always setting myself up for failure, right? It's the expectation versus reality syndrome, like textbook expectation versus reality. Yeah. And so I never I work so hard on all my projects, and I derive joy from the struggle within those projects, not the end result of them.
Dude, that is, we need to have a whole, and we're going to have a whole nother session because I could keep going.
We can just go and go,
and on and on. So what we're probably going to do, we're going to do one of two things or both things. One, we're going to have to schedule you some time to join me on Clubhouse, and we can have an ongoing. Are you active on Clubhouse? Are you?
Yeah. I do Clubhouse too, man.
That's perfect. So we'll set up some time to have a continued conversation on Clubhouse. And I would love to chat with you. I know you have your mindset podcast as well. And just keep that conversation going. And we want to let folks know, if you want to get in touch. John, what's the best way for folks to get in touch with you?
honestly, like all my contact information is on my LinkedIn profile on the about section. So you can hit me up there. I try to respond to every message that comes through, every DM that comes through on there. So, yeah.
Yeah. LinkedIn is a place. So if you want to learn more about John, and what we're going to do for folks that are new to the late afternoon show is that we're going to compile. I'm just going to pick 3 of the gems. He dropped a whole bucket full of them. I'm going to take 3 of them and throw them on the recap. And so you guys can kind of check that out and then check out the full episode. We're going to have it on YouTube. We're obviously having it on my LinkedIn page and Facebook. And we'll throw it up on Twitter and on the Mr. Meaningful Work website. So if you missed any of the episodes, if you want to go back and hear John Henry or Jeff Hoffman or anybody else, you just go to MrMeaningfulWork.com, has video content. John's mention is going to be on there as well, so you can check it out. And so we'll carry over our question and answer to that session because we want folks to slide into their weekend. We know it's Friday. Yeah. Everybody's about to get their vibe on. So
right, man.
We are going to let you guys go. We've had John Marty on the late afternoon show today. John, we appreciate your time. We appreciate your wisdom, your gems, your perspective, your journey. And we definitely look forward to continuing this conversation in another form or fashion. Dude, we appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man.
And all of our folks that are joining us later, let us know what you think. We have 2 more episodes, and season 2 is done. I can't believe we're almost down to the bottom of the 2nd season of the late afternoon show. But next week, we have a very, very interesting guest. And then our following week, we got 2 ladies coming up. You guys do not want to miss these powerhouse ladies coming up to wrap up our late afternoon show. So guys, join us next Tuesday. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. And we will see you on the flip side. Bye-bye, everybody.
Later.
Boom.